everybody. I'm doing a quick little video here with Maurice. We just got done with Thursdays with Maurice and other, and we started talking about all the things happening in North Carolina right now because of the hurricane and just kind of humanity in general. So I just wanted to do a little update with you, and I want to record the conversation because I think it could be helpful. And anyway, so I just wanted to share. Maurice, we started talking about some of the videos we were watching on Facebook. And there's one in particular about a cabin that got swept away in the flood, and there was an older woman in it. She happened to have a life vest on. They had her jump out, get out of the house. And so she jumped out. She was caught in the torrents. And two men that don't know her or anything, one jumped in the water, another one was in their canoe and tried to get out, couldn't combat the current to get her. What did he do? He jumps in the water. So that to me is important. And that's why I want to talk and open that up with Maurice with you, is because we are taught so much that it ingrained that humanity left on our own, we would cannibalize each other. It would be war. We need this government. We need all this stuff from the outside to, control us because we'd be out of control. No, Maurice and I talk about that's not humanity. That's not the humanity we see and we know. And that's what we're seeing, this horrible devastation. That little video is just an example of true humanity, is that we would jump in that river without a second thought of our life and just jump in there and save someone. So I kind of want to open that up, Maurice, because I feel like, it's we're being told the wrong things about who we are.
That's absolutely true. And that video shows it without words. You just see it. You can see it. Like you indicated, those two men did not know that lady, but they were local in the area. And that's all it took. They disregarded everything from a male point of view. All he could see was, this is what's required, and I'm going to do my damnedest to get it done. And that was all that was in his mind. And then it became a question of tactics. How do I do it? It's very rapid thought processes, this, that, the other thing, and most of it without thought, just physical reaction. But that's what humanity is. They like we were kind of talking about it as we talked. We talked for about 15 minutes after you stopped recording. I lived up there for 23 years. I know those boys. They're simplistic. They're primitive in all kinds of ways. But as far as at the base level, they want the same damn things that everybody else wants. They want peace, harmony, love, joy. They want to feel good. They want the others around them to feel good. They don't get great pleasure in hurting other people. They do it sometimes out of a sense of necessity or all kinds of reasons. Hence the Hatfields and the McCoys and all of that storyline, from that area of the world. But based as they have family gatherings up there every year. I mean, I've been to a few of them along the way. These people come from miles around. You have a family gallery because it was settled by the Scottish people who are clannish as hell anyway. And there might be 50 or 100 people there that auntie this, Uncle Ed, this kind of thing. They have that sense of unity amongst themselves as people, and a stranger in need needs to be helped. Period.
Yeah.
What happens after that is something else. But for the moment, they respond with the right action because that's who they are. And the funny thing is, I've lived in a few states along the way, and I visited a whole bunch of them where I spent some time. And you know what? At least the country folk now, or the people in smaller towns that don't live in these damn mega cities, that are the people of the land, if you will. They're like that everywhere. Their accents change, their traditions, culturally change somewhat. But hell, I've sat at dinner tables in fucking North Dakota. It's the same thing. That's what people are. And that's what organic humanity is all about.
Yeah.
And like you said,
I agree. Like Maurice, when you start out saying these are simple folks, I'm like, yeah, simple folks of the land, because they're still connected to the where humanity comes from, right? The
yes,
roots of humanity is in the land, is connection to people. It's about love and kindness.
it could, yes,
It's
it
about
is. It is.
it's
Left to
it,
your own devices, I had never met a man that wanted other than that for everybody around them. That's what they want. Now, whether they can achieve that or not gets interfered with all the time from all over the air. But it's all from the external sources that cause that conflict. When things are
oh yeah.
running smoothly, that's what they'd rather have, and they do everything they can to make that case. And when they see somebody in dire straits, like that lady, for instance, there was not a thought in their mind. They weren't worried about what somebody else thought. They did because they responded immediately
Oh
without
my
the
God. My heart swelled and I had tears in my eyes when I was watching it. And even as we talk now, I just feel like this, humanity is given this horrible rap. That's not who we are. We are not people that are careless, are warmongers, are fighters in that sense. Yeah, maybe we'll protect and we'll take care of all these things, but that imprint, that's a different imprint. That's what the controllers are doing. That's the imprint that's being imposed on humanity, saying,
absolutely, yeah,
you've got to be afraid of this and that and fight for that. And there's only so much to go around. And that's our, and they educate. Like the more educated you get, the farther away you get from the roots of being grounded, grounded in your humanity. And then you start making excuses and it gets complicated. Well, it's this theory and that theory. And, no, just come back to the simplicity. Be a stinking human being. Just be who you are. It's not a complicated thing. It's a simple thing.
yep.
We all want, and our base, we all want the same thing, get rid of that. Like stop listening to the external telling you who you are, what you want, or what other people are. I look around. I mean, I was at this wedding I talked about with our Thursdays with Maurice, that I was at a wedding last week and people were filled with such joy and love for each other. And I looked at my nephew and his whole big group of friends, and they have been with each other through college and beyond, and they love each other. They're a pack. And it's just such a cool thing to see. I mean, I never had that. I was too dysfunctional to have. And I think a lot of my generation was too dysfunctional for that, but it was an incredible thing to see. And I was just, struck, like it just was so good to my heart just to see that there's community out there. There's people, this is who we are as a people,
They care
and
about each other.
yeah,
People care about each other, even strangers. They learned to be distrustful. They've been told to be distrustful. They say there's scammers everywhere and there's hurtful people everywhere, and they buy that. You hear, if that's all you ever hear, you believe that's the reality. But
yeah,
I'm just saying what I see amongst people that I've lived with through my life. What what those two men did for that lady is exemplary of what the organic, true human will do. And if there was
without
a woman in
question.
there that knew how to swim really good, she'd have freaking probably jumped in ahead of them.
I would have jumped in. I'm a really good swimmer. I would know how to work with the currents. You don't swim again like a rip tide or whatever. I grew up in the water. You don't work against the current. You just flow with it. You slowly get
Yeah, well,
understand.
as you saw the end of that thing, he didn't bring her out of the current. He rode with her in that current to the eddy at the bottom, and then they just
Exactly.
got up and walked out. Is what happened. Now
Yeah,
that's knowing the land that you're living on, which obviously
exactly.
they probably both did.
Yeah.
They weren't kids, neither
No,
one of them.
there are no spring chickens on that one.
Nope.
But I think it looked like it was an older woman,
Well, the
I
woman
think
was older. Yeah, she probably didn't
it's
have
no,
the strength, but the
it didn't
guy
even
still had
matter.
his. He could have been as old as 60 years old. I don't think he was, but he could have been that old because guys hold their strength quite a while. They do.
Yeah, they do. And yeah, it was just a beautiful thing. And it just touched me. And Maurice and I were talking about it. So I wanted to give just a little update about with horrible things, and there's a lot of speculation going on about,
Right.
what happened there and how the communities weren't wanting certain expansions of mines and different things. They were saying no to certain stuff,
Oh, there's
and
all kinds of stuff.
there's
Yeah,
all kinds of stuff going on there. There's a big old rabbit hole of speculation there. And unfortunately, we can't trust even weather patterns anymore. There's
no.
there's so much stuff that's being controlled and manipulated. But
Mhm.
in spite of all that, I mean, a lot of people lost their lives. I mean, I don't even know what the death count is now, but it's gonna
It's
I
a
was
lot.
just it's going to keep going up. There was a another post of a woman that was saying how just the amount of bodies she saw going downstream, and people saying
Wow.
bodies gathering here and there, and just like the horror and shock of it all. And unfortunately, while we're saying how humanity is good, that there's other controlling things in this world that's not good, and so stuff like this happens. But through it, I guess that's the message, right, Maurice, that we're
Yep.
saying is like through all of that, what shines through is the truth of humanity. Let's not lose track of that. you know
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you see it all. If you're looking for it, if you got your eyes open, you'll see it. Despite the worst oppression, you'll still see humanity show itself. In as example of that video, there, no matter where you are in the world, too, it isn't a uniquely American thing, by the way.
no, it's not.
I guarantee you, without knowing from any experience, there's African people do the same thing for their neighbors. There's South America, everywhere in the world.
Everywhere in
That
the
is
world.
what humanity really is.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yep.
So that's kind of all I wanted to do right there, Maurice, was just kind of let's, in all this horrible things that are happening, there's going to be these beautiful stories of heroes, stepping up and, stepping up, shining with it. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mitigate, it doesn't, take away all the devastation and the pain that's been caused by it. But there should be, I hope, somewhere in all of our hearts that we can see, like, okay, there's that spark, that's the spark of the true human,
Yep.
where we
Absolutely.
are
Yep.
there for our neighbors no matter what.
Yep.
No matter what, we will help each other out. So, okay, anything else you want to add to that message, Maurice?
No, I think you have covered it quite well, and that's true.
Okay. All right. Well, peace to you all, and especially to our brothers and sisters that have been hit and devastated by this. We really keep you in our prayers, and we know that there's all kinds of angels there and more angels on their way. And while we can't be there, many of us can't be there, we can be there in spirit. And that's really important, is to just keep not on the vibration of fear with it. There's enough of that been instilled with this whole episode, but let's keep bring a higher vibration, and let's keep holding that higher place of just love, and it's going to work out in peace with it. And that's what they need an influx of,
Yep.
is that loving energy. So you got our hearts, everybody there. So Maurice, my friend, as always, thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure as always.